smokeless tobacco products now. They're often touted as significantly safer than cigarettes, but many in the medical community, they have a lot of concerns about the health problems they can cause. Here to talk about it, Dr. Brad Rodu, a member of the University of Louisville's medical faculty, and chair in tobacco harm reduction research at the university's James Cancer Center. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Rodu. I appreciate it.
Good afternoon.
All right, so we have smokeless tobacco, chewing tobacco, these kind of things. I have always been told that these are as dangerous as cigarettes, and I think Tony Gwynn is a cautionary tale of that in San Diego. He's held up in high regard, but he passed away from cancer, he said, was given to him by smokeless tobacco. Why don't we know this?
Well, Tony Gwynn had it wrong. He thought that smokeless tobacco caused his parotid gland cancer, but in fact, epidemiologic studies for the past 3 decades don't prove that. In fact, his parotid gland cancer is a very rare cancer, and it's not been related to any tobacco product, including cigarettes.
All right, good information there then. Are smokeless tobacco products, are they okay to use maybe just on occasion then?
Well, smokeless tobacco products, in contrast to their smoky cousins, have not been shown to be associated in epidemiologic studies with any of the diseases that kill smokers. You can imagine smokeless tobacco doesn't cause lung cancer and emphysema.
Sure.
But it also doesn't cause heart attacks, strokes, or any of the other numerous cancers that smokers succumb to. When we light tobacco, put it on fire, and inhale smoke, we're also getting 7,000 additional chemicals in addition to nicotine. When you put a little tobacco in your mouth, it doesn't have any significant risks. In fact, a federal study last year found that chewers and dippers had 0 risk for mouth cancer. 0 risk. No risk whatsoever. That was a federal study.
Well, that doesn't seem to coincide with what we have heard about smokeless tobacco products. I know we've seen ad campaigns saying that smokeless tobacco can cause just as many problems as smoking tobacco. Different ones necessarily, but can cause problems.
Yes, and if you notice those ad campaigns, most of them are arising from the federal government, the CDC, the National Cancer Institute, the FDA. None of those studies that claim those diseases have any numbers with them. That's because the risks are so low that we can't even accurately measure those risks. You know, the CDC has the number of smokers who die each year down to the single digit. They've actually refused to come up with a number related to smokeless tobacco. The reason they won't come up with that number is that it's too small. It doesn't fit with this tobacco-free society campaign that the federal government is engaging in. So they're misinforming Americans about a vastly safer product, smokeless tobacco, and thereby keeping people smoking.
Would people, though, who were trying to give up smoking, would they switch to smokeless tobacco products just to keep that feeling that they get? It's hard for me to imagine a lot of people would say, I'll just have a big chaw in my mouth as opposed to smoke.
Absolutely not. I agree with you that not everyone would switch. However, some of the modern smokeless tobacco products can be used invisibly. They aren't a big wad of chaw. They're not the spitting image disappears with many of those products because they're packaged so that people can use them invisibly. And it's the same campaign being waged on smokeless that's now being waged on vapor, e-cigarettes. They are also vastly safer than smoking, yet smokers are being misinformed that those products are just as dangerous, and that's wrong.
I have heard nothing positive about vaping that I can recall. That, in fact, I have several friends who vape all the time, and I have pointed out, apparently wrongly now, that that's not good for you. You shouldn't be doing that. But apparently that's, once again, is that a misinformation campaign?
Absolutely it is. The Royal College of Physicians, which is a British medical society, they're one of the most prestigious and oldest medical societies in the world. They have documented that vaping is at most 5% as hazardous as smoking. And in fact, the British government is now endorsing smokers to switch to vaping products because of the lower risks. Yet the American government seems to be resistant to any products other than absolute abstinence. And we're not winning the battle to keep 400,000 smokers a year from dying when we only give them abstinence as the option. It's called quit or die, and we have to have other options to allow people to get nicotine, which doesn't cause any disease, without the deadly smoke toxins.
This is Dr. Brad Rodu. Thank you so much for joining me on Trending Today USA. Very interesting information.